Rotary Club of Cupertino presents the Cupertino Union School District and Fremont Union High School District Board of Education Candidate Forums 2018, live from the Quinlan Community Center. And now for this afternoon's moderator, Tracy Edwards.
Good afternoon. I'm Tracy Edwards from the League of Women Voters, and I'll be moderating today's forums. We'll begin today with a forum for the Cupertino Union School District. Following a very brief break to change the candidates on the stage, we'll do a second forum with the candidates for Fremont Union High School District. The League of Women Voters hosts and assists with forums like this to allow voters to see the candidates and hear them address questions of interest to the public. Our goal is to enable voters to learn about the candidates so they can make informed choices. The League of Women Voters never endorses or opposes a candidate or a political party. The format for both of today's forums is simple. I will pose a question to the candidates. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond. A timer seated in the front here will give the candidates visual signals to help them pace their responses. Today's questions were developed by a team of League members based on their own research and questions submitted by the public via email. Finally, we ask that the audience refrain from displays of support or opposition, and please hold your applause until the end of each forum. Now turning to the Cupertino Union School District. 3 of the 5 seats for the Board of Trustees are up for election this November. All 4 candidates are here today. They are Satish Kumar Madatil, Lori Cunningham, Will Flewelling, and Jerry Liu. Voters in this school district may vote for 3 of these candidates. The 3 candidates that get the most votes in November will be elected to the school board. We'll now turn our attention to the candidates. Thank you all very much for running for office and for participating today. Each candidate will provide an opening statement, and the speaking order for the opening statements and subsequent questions was determined by random drawing and will begin from left to right with Satish. Satish, your opening statement, please.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Rotary. Thank you, League of Women Voters organization for organizing this. I have been in CUSD district over probably 16, 17 years, and last 13 years or so actively involved. I have 2 children who passed out of elementary and middle school in CUSD, and my older one passed out of Monta Vista, and the second one got into Monta Vista now. So I have been an active community volunteer, PTA leader, and many other fundraising events and things like that for the school. Currently, I am the president of Monta Vista PTA, Cupertino Fremont Sunnyvale Council VP leadership for PTA, vice president for leadership, 6th district PTA executive board member, and over and above, I am the regional commissioner for American Youth Soccer Organization, which is a non-profit organization against supporting the soccer and the sportsmanship in students and youth.
Thank you. Lori?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much to all of you and to Rotary and the League for hosting today. I am a 9-year parent volunteer in CUSD, and I have held almost every volunteer job that there is to hold at one of our local schools. I have served on our PTO Board of Directors and now on our school site council as our chair for the past several years at Montclair Elementary. I've also spent the past 4 years serving on all 4 of CUSD's district-level advisory committees, including our budget advisory. I'm a product of CUSD schools. I grew up in Sunnyvale. I attended West Valley Elementary and Coop Middle when it was still a junior high. So running for board is really coming full circle for me. I am proud to be endorsed by our Cupertino teachers, the Cupertino Education Association. I have a master's in physical therapy and have worked extensively as a clinician, clinical educator, teaching graduate students, and as a healthcare director, running large multi-million-dollar budgets and multidisciplinary teams. I would be honored to earn your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Will?
Hi, everyone. Thank you to the League for hosting this forum. Thank you for Rotary for having us. My name is Will Flewelling. I'm a new parent. My son just started kindergarten. I do not have a lot of volunteer activities, unfortunately, in the district, but I'm running the Fall Festival this year, so that should be exciting. And I feel like the reason I'm really coming into this race is because he is just starting. So I'm a fresh face. I have different thoughts and different things to apply. I earned my MBA from San Jose State, so I think that's a little bit of a different mindset that I can bring to the board. And proudly, I just was recently earned the endorsement of the South Bay Labor Council, so that's pretty cool. Working people. And that's it for me. Vote Will for schools.
Thank you. Jerry.
All right. Thank you all for being here today, and thanks to the League and the Rotary for hosting this event. My name is Jerry Liu. I'm the father of 2 girls currently enrolled in CUSD. Our family moved to Cupertino about 8 years ago for the schools, and since then I've been active in our school, in our community. As a current PTA president at Lincoln Elementary and vice president over at Kennedy Middle, I'm familiar with the needs of our students and our teachers. And as a president of the Cupertino Library Foundation, I know something about the kind of things that our community values. And as a Cupertino Planning Commissioner, I recognize the importance and the responsibilities that come with public service. In 2016, I received the CREST Award from the City of Cupertino for my volunteer work in education. Professionally, I've published peer-reviewed papers and received patents on education technology, and I'll bring over a decade of experience in people management and budget responsibilities to the school board. I'm honored to have been endorsed by 3 of the 5 current school board members, and I respectfully ask for your trust and your vote this November. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Lori, the next question will begin with you. Why should citizens without children care about this election?
Great question. So I think we all know there is an extremely proud tradition of academic excellence with both of our local school districts, both CUSD and FUHSD. And in no small part, that has helped not only stabilize, but certainly enhance our local community in many ways, as well as our local real estate market. I think that the reputation of our schools and continuing to earn the trust of our community is paramount to the success of our work as a school district. And so I absolutely think that our entire community does and will continue to care about our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Will?
Education's the foundation of our society. If we're not teaching our kids how to do things right, we're missing everything. We got to do this better. I can't believe I keep hearing these statistics that we're the 8th percentage funded district in California. That just blows my mind. And it's amazing that the parents and the teachers really work so hard for our kids, but we need to do something better for them so they're not struggling as much. Yeah, I mean, education's huge. I was the first person in my family to get a graduate degree. I took a very long journey through college and everything, so I fully appreciate how much that education can do for you. You want to keep those property values up, keep your schools up.
Thank you. Jerry?
Right. I also feel that public education basically is a cornerstone of our society. If you look at a lot of the problems that's being dealt with, as a community in terms of social mobility, in terms of standards of living, and even nowadays, if you turn on the TV, there's just a lot of discussion around civil discourse and wanting to have people work together. A lot of that fundamentally, I think, comes down to having a solid public education. It's not something that gets talked about, but it's the appropriate long-term solution for many of these challenges that we face in our society. Coming more on a local level, we're known for this area is known for its public education system. I know Vice Mayor Rod Sinks likes to joke about on the dais about people aren't moving to Cupertino for the city council. They're here before the education system. And I think that's something we're proud of, something we're known worldwide for, and something we should maintain. And then lastly, if you just come down to an individual level, the multiplier that we have on a lot of the assets here is really because of the school system.
Jerry, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Satish?
CUSD is a great school, actually. Okay, the moment, the reason I moved here, when my wife was about to deliver, our first baby itself was just for the school, right? So everybody expects, CUSD, the greatness of CUSD, and they want to work to make sure that CUSD is, continue to be the best, okay? And in order for doing that, actually, it needs a lot of great leadership and a strong board. And I think this is the main reason this people are worried, people are concerned about this election, and people are for this election to make a stable board.
Thank you. Will, the next question will begin with you. What, if any, school-related issues do you see resulting from the redevelopment of Valco? And if you believe there will be issues, what will you do to mitigate those issues?
Sure, there's going to be a little more traffic. Sure, there's going to be a few more students. Nothing we can't handle. We have such a long time frame to plan this out properly. We can figure it out. Please don't be afraid of this development by thinking that they're going to overcrowd our schools, overpollute our air, and overcrowd our streets. We need housing. It's a Bay Area problem. It's a state problem. We have to get some more density around here. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Jerry.
Sure. So I currently serve on the Cupertino Planning Commission. About a month ago, after a 7-hour public hearing, I dissented from the majority and voted against the proposal, in a big part due to the effect on the schools. If you look at the school impact report that the city has commissioned that was submitted as part of the agenda packet, what you're looking at is basically anywhere from several hundred, I'll just leave it there, in terms of additional students that are generated that are coming to the district. There's a standard formula for calculating impact once you have the number of students. The state allocation board tells you how much space you need, and you plug in a number for how much of the construction costs, you end up at a number which is about $30 million. Okay, and so I had voted against it because basically both the mandatory fees as well as the volunteer contributions don't come up to that. I'm hoping that in going forward, there are things we can do to basically make the schools whole, right? We should eat our vegetables before we eat the desserts and the cakes that we want. Thank you.
Thank you. Satish?
Definitely this is going to have an impact, right? So we have to really assess what is the impact going to be. As everyone said, that traffic could be an issue. The overflowing, crowded school would be an issue. School balance, the balance between the schools could be an issue. But I think everything we should sit and look into what are the options available to manage that. Definitely the board focus should be on the education. Education is number one. I know there will be a lot of external influence on all these things. But I think without losing the essence of the education or our goal, I think we can do a good job on this.
Thank you. Lori?
Thank you. So our job as a school district and as a school board with any challenges that we face will be to be the best advocates for kids that we can be. We will have different challenges that we face over time, and Valco is certainly one of them. We will experience new students coming into that area of the district. We will experience things like traffic, which may impact our students and our ability to get kids safely to and from our schools. It will require exquisite planning and outreach to the community to mitigate those things as we experience them, but also ahead of time to plan for them as effectively as we possibly can. We may need to look at creative solutions to make sure that we are providing the most equitable education for every student that we can in the district, and I think we are capable and competent to be able to do that as a district. Thank you.
Thank you. Jerry, the next question will begin with you. There's been a lot of public comment on the reliance on portable classrooms in Cupertino Union. What's your view on the use of portable classrooms?
I think portable classrooms are a good way. It's an inexpensive way to add capacity to class. It's generally about $200,000 and takes a matter of weeks to put in place rather than $1 million per classroom and a much longer construction period. With that said, I don't believe that they're good long-term solutions for the students because it's not just about the space you have in the classroom. It's about all the other areas, some of the support services around cafeteria, gym, and all that. And so I know that in the past we've had growth. We're certainly a fiscally challenged district. Right now, about a third of our students, I would say roughly, are in portable classrooms. And I would just, I think aspirationally, I would like to see the use of those curtailed whenever possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Satish?
Portable classrooms are okay for the short-term goal, right? So, because definitely we have to give education for everybody. And definitely every kid wants to, go to the neighborhood school, right? That's the agenda. So definitely we don't have a choice if you don't have a permanent building available. So portables are okay for a short time, but on a long term, definitely we need to have a solution for that, to have a permanent. This is not just the space alone or the classroom facility alone. When you are having portables, I have seen that, the playgrounds and many other extra room actually is being lost. So definitely this is an area to be looked at always on a long term. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori?
Yeah, so I think the issue of portable classrooms is an important one. I think that it is absolutely our job as a school board to ensure, again, that equity piece for every learner in every classroom across our district. Not all portables are created equally, right? We do certainly have portables on many of our campuses that are functioning as long-term classrooms because they are designed to serve long-term needs. They are kitted and outfitted inside those classrooms to serve our long-term needs. I think the bigger issue is what else in terms of space on a campus is happening when you have portable classrooms on a campus. And so I think part of that is ensuring that we have adequate common space, that we have adequate fields, that we have adequate playground space. The other thing I will say is that I think this is why the trust of the community and maintaining the trust of the community is so important, because our ability to replace those portables with permanent buildings comes down to, will our community support that next bond? Local funds for local schools are incredibly important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will?
Yeah, are you guys ready for another bond? We kind of have to start to rebuild a little bit. These things are not meant for long term. We have to get them out of there. This isn't FEMA during a hurricane situation. Let's shell out some more money. Let's do the next bond. Let's build.
Thank you very much. Satish, the next question will begin with you. What does academic excellence mean to you?
Academic excellence for me is not just a classroom in the learning. Okay, that is what, like an A+ or a B+ or the highest in each engineering, math or medical or whatever it is. That is not the only thing. So academic excellence for me is actually excelling in everything. Mold a person, mold a kid to be a good citizen, right? It could be like, loving others, sharing things, and, basically making them a good citizen, making them a good, product for the future. Our children are going to be the future of our country. Definitely, just by learning English or math or science, they will not be an excellent guy. So we have to make sure a balance across and provide a very good environment for them to be a good citizen.
Thank you very much. Lori?
Hi. So I define academic success for our kids as balance. It is the balance between that strive for academic excellence for every one of our learners, making sure they are supported where they need to be supported and challenged when they need to be challenged. But it's also ensuring that we are always looking out for the social and emotional well-being and needs of every one of our learners. Academic excellence, as we cultivate it in our learners, is bigger than just the academics. It is making sure that we are developing learners who can embrace things like critical thinking and innovation and creativity, and common sense and compassion and kindness. All of those things go into making learners that will finish their time with us as students who are excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Will?
Civics. Let's get back to the streets. I had such a good time yesterday putting together yard signs with my 5-year-old. It was a blast. I'm so happy to get him going early. And it's great that we have our high schoolers that have these cool volunteer clubs. So I mentioned the Fall Festival. We have some that are going to come and help out. Why can't our 8th graders? Why can't our 5th graders help out? Let's do more civics. Let's make sure they're getting that community mindset. That's it.
Thank you. Jerry?
All right. So the term academic typically sort of brings up this image of grades and tests and all that. But I think for me, it's really a broader definition. If we think about why are we here as a school district, particularly Cupertino Union, we're here to prepare the students so that they can be successful in high school, in college, and beyond. So I really look at this as sort of going back to the basics of what is it going to take for them to be successful. I work in a place where my job, I manage basically teams of PhDs. These are folks that's had 16 more years of schooling. And what I've found is that the folks that are the most successful are not the ones that are the best at doing the sort of the worksheet type of things, but the ones that are the best at identifying what problems to solve. And so for me, a lot of this, then the excellence comes down to some of the 4 C's that people have talked about: creativity, communication, collaboration, critical thinking. It's a lot of these personal traits, a resilience, willing to try new things, and leadership. And so I think it's really a combination of both knowledge, skills, and these personal traits that define academic excellence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lori, the next question will begin with you. What budget challenges do you see the district needing to address over the next 5 years?
Yeah, so our top budget challenges all come down to our funding status. We are an incredibly low-funded district. In the bottom 8% of the state, in a state that's already in the bottom 10 or maybe even 6th in the bottom, from the bottom, depending on which measure you look at. Compensation and pension costs are rising, which is a big challenge for our district. Our fixed costs are going up faster than what the state will be giving us in a cost of living adjustment in the next several years. We all know that it is more expensive to live here, which means it's also more expensive to do business here. $1 here does not go as far as $1 out in Modesto. And so that affects everything from our compensation and benefits packages to the business of keeping our schools open and the lights on. The state has increased, kind of heaped on a huge increase in our pension costs in the next several years onto districts. We're going from 8% to 18% on our teacher payroll in the next several years, or we're midway through that process, and 22% on our staff payroll.
Thank you very much, Lori. Will.
Prop 13 is broken. We have to get away from it. It's ruining the infrastructure of our whole state. It's been 40 years now. We really need to address the uncomfortable elephant in the room and fix that. Otherwise, we're going to keep sinking. When it comes to the baby boomers and all of these pensions we're going to have to pay out, we're in trouble. This is a lot of work we have to deal with to make sure retirement is covered and taken care of. We can't shirk that responsibility. We have to figure something else out here. And then more corporate cooperation. We need more help from these big companies in our backyards. They got to chip in better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jerry.
Sure. So financial challenges the first couple of years. The district is subject to a couple of forces that's really beyond our control here, and I'll kind of go through them. First of all, we're a revenue limit district. What that means is the more kids we serve, the more money we get, right? And so typically we're at about $8,100, and we get about a roughly a 2.7% increase from the state. Right, so imagine sort of a budget's going up 2.7%. But then we have declining enrollment in this district. We're about 17,300 right now. It'll drop to a bottom of about 16,700. Right, so it's about 3.5% decrease in the next 4 or 5 years. So this curve that was like this comes down a bit more. And then as Lori alluded to earlier, there's been these sort of pension reform type of deals where basically ends up pushing some of the costs down to the district. So we're talking, back in 2013 it was 8% of the payroll for the teachers. Now it's up to 19% in 2020. So that curve that was like this now you're looking at something that dips down. We should look at structural fixes, but those are the...
Thank you very
thanks.
much. Satish.
Definitely, I think this is going to be an issue. Like prioritizing the right program is very important. And I think when you do not have enough funding, enough budget allocation, we are going to have a challenge there. Keeping the good teachers, actually qualified teachers, is very important here. If they leave, we are going to be, the whole CUSD, how CUSD is saying like we are great school and everything. It all depends upon how we can retain the good teachers. Okay, so these are the things are definitely going to be a challenge. And I think we have to really look into that, how to optimize the overall expenses and the prioritization.
Thank you. We're now going to turn to the last question that we gave the candidates in advance. It's to give them the opportunity to comment on something that they were not asked about today. And we're going to begin with Will. Will, would you please state and answer a question you wish you had been asked?
Will, if you get on the board, how are you going to complement it? Well, the more and more I hear from board members throughout the Bay Area, at the high school level, at the K-8 level, they need a diverse board. They have to complement one another. You can't have birds of a feather that have specializations sitting side by side. So I'm cut from a different cloth completely. I will bring a different perspective to the board. I look forward to that. I want to think outside the box some more and work with my fellow board members. So yeah, think of me as the different guy.
Thank you. Jerry.
Sure. So my question would be, why do you think CUSD is such a great school district? And my answer would be, in short, it's because of the people. It's people like Hui, a PTA mom who volunteers for everything she can and does her work with such meticulous, loving care. It's people like Daryl, a science teacher who goes above and beyond to fill his classroom with the latest tech gadgets so that his students can get excited about STEM. And it's people like Sheila, a librarian who scrambles to maintain a great collection for her students, even though for years she had gotten no material budget from the district. And it's people like Anne, a new principal who comes into a distrustful community and turns it into an enthusiastic one because she's willing to listen to the parents and take action. And it's because of people like this and thousands across the district whom I haven't met yet that makes us a great district. And I want to be in a position to be able to support them so they can continue to do these fabulous things for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Satish.
Okay, so my question would be how my experience would directly benefit the function of the board. Actually, I have been in the community and a parent volunteer over 13 years now, right? And I'm a true representation of a community or anyone in a community. So I know what exactly each of them are expecting, what kind of trust levels they have in the board, and I definitely would be able to bridge between the board and the community. And a lot of experience I gained over the period of time. I'm sure I would be able to use it on every decision making and every crisis when we are going to have it. I go with, I believe in effective communication. I believe in inclusion, engagement of the community very much for every decision making. And I'm a person who goes with with consensus many times. So I'm sure with my tons of experience, I would be able to do a good job in the board. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lori.
Great, thank you. So I think the question I would ask and answer is, what is your commitment to service in CUSD and serving on the CUSD board? I'm a big believer in actions speaking louder than words. I have dedicated myself to service in this school district for the majority of the last decade, leveraging my leadership and professional skills for the benefit of kids in our community. I am committed to the promise of public education, and I believe it is the foundation of not only our democracy, but of the American dream. Every child needs resources, support, mentorship, and love to thrive, and that happens best when there is a partnership between our community, our parents, our school district, and our elected officials, making sure that that happens for every child. The challenges that we face as a school district will change over time, but what will not change is my commitment to listening, seeking input, and finding common ground. I'm grounded in the shared history of this community. I am committed to our shared future. I would respectfully ask for your vote for our school board, and thank you again to Rotary for your service to kids.
Thank you very much. Please join me in a round of applause for the panel. We'll now take a very brief break to set up the next forum. Thank you.
Observe the domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
What's he
Hey,
doing
it's
here?
Smokey. Sorry, it was too high.
How
Right.
can I know?
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you
me to
said,
make it big.
no, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
He watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
We will now turn to the second forum with the candidates for the Fremont Union School District. 3 of the 5 seats in the Board of Trustees are up for election this November. All 6 candidates are here today. They are William Wilson, who goes by Bill, Benaifer Dastor, Naomi Nakano Matsumoto, Rosa Kim, Mina Judikanda Gajala, and Don Sun. Voters in this school district may vote for 3 of these candidates, and the 3 candidates that get the most votes in November will be elected to the school board. We'll now turn our attention to the candidates. And again, thank you all very much for running for office and for participating today. As with the Cupertino Union School District, each candidate will provide an opening statement, and the speaking order for the opening statement was determined by a random drawing and will be from left to right, starting with Bill. Bill, your opening statement, please.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Tracy, and thank you for the League and to the Cupertino Rotary Club for hosting this. So I was first elected to the Fremont Union High School District Board in 2006, so I've been on there for 12 years. I'm currently the board president. So the question is, why do I want to run again? And the answer simply is I love this district, and as Tracy said, 3 seats are up this time. My other 2 colleagues whose terms are up are not running this time. I have this great appreciation for Hung Wei and Barbara Nunes, who've served the board with distinction, and I think we built a sound foundation, but I think some continuity is important. We need to build on that foundation. I think I can bring some insights into what has worked and what maybe not so much, and so I look forward to working with some new board members in the future and continuing to move the district forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Benaifer?
Thank you, Tracy, and hello, everyone. I'm Benaifer Dastur. My 2 children attended K-12 public schools. I have worked extensively with teachers, students, parents, the school district over the past 13 years in several capacities as a volunteer and a parent leader. I have also led as a president Cupertino Fremont Sunnyvale Council of PTA, which serves all the 3 school districts. Currently, I am on the school district citizen advisory committee, which looks into the enrollment issue, the wellness task force, which looks into the well-being and social emotional well-being of our students, and the parent engagement committee working on strategies to engage parents. As a school board trustee, I would continue to work for the community and try and bring them in and involve them in all the decisions that the board takes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Naomi?
Thank you. Thank you to the Cupertino Rotary Club, the League of Women Voters, and to Tracy for hosting us today. As you know, for many of you, I have been, was the executive director for West Valley Community Services for 10 years, and having served in that capacity, I was lucky enough to be a member of this Rotary Club for 10 years also. And so I believe that the experience as a nonprofit executive, not only at West Valley Community Services, but beyond that, provides me with the governance experience, contracting experience, negotiation experience, community development, community relationship building, and partnership experience to serve on the school board. I have been a school social worker in my past life, and I've also provided, in a nonprofit capacity, counselors in the school system. And I have also served as, I've been active in...
Thank you very much, Naomi. I appreciate it. Rosa.
First of all, Thank you to Rotary Club for a wonderful opportunity. Hi, my name is Rosa Kim. I'm a parent of a FUHSD student. For the past 10 years, I serve as a teacher and principal of Silicon Valley Korean School. We share the Cupertino High School campus for 22 years with over 1,000 students, 200 volunteers, and 17 teachers. As an administrator, I work closely with district staff, and I contributed to the overall community with buying annual craft fit tickets and donating money to school sports. As a board member, I'd like to reinforce students' wellness program. I major in educational psychology. I know how important their mental well-being is to their future success. I'd like to incorporate all the students' voices into the district policies.
Thank you. Mina.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me for the forum and hosting it. My name is Meena Jitakonda. I'm a mother of 2 children. I have a son who goes to Fremont High School, and my daughter goes to Cupertino Middle School. I have been an active member of the community volunteering for over 10 years. I have served on PTA as a PTA president. I coach basketball. I am a Girl Scout and a Boy Scout leader. I believe in strengthening our schools. My own educational background includes a master's degree in business, economics, and accounting. I have a diploma in software engineering and a course study in child studies and communication. The key for running for the board is to increase parent engagement. I believe parents getting involved in their children's education is the key to student success. Thank you.
Thank you. Don.
Good afternoon. My name is Dang Sang. My mom has been lifetime elementary school teachers, so it's since very young I know the importance of education. I have a bachelor degree in statistics and urban planning in China, and coming to the University of Pennsylvania to study economics. After that, I come into Stanford University, do the research fellow in the Hoover Institute. At the meantime, I attended the law school to finish my judiciary doctorate degree. I run my own business. At the meantime, I conduct a lot of community service. I have been on the Cupertino Rotary Club as a board member and also president for the Cupertino Historical Society as a member. And also I'm on the Planning Commission for 8 years, twice as chair. So I want to continue to work for the community. My both sons graduate from Fremont Union High School District. They are now both in the college, so I know the parents what they're feeling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for the next question, we'll begin with you. What are the 2 things that you believe Fremont Union is particularly doing well, and what 2 things would you like to work to change?
So I have attended countless of school board meetings, and the one thing that I have learned is that our school board is very collaborative. They genuinely care for our students and our staff. Our staff feels valued. The revenue sharing model is an example. We have whenever there is a problem in the school district takes a step back, forms a citizen advisory committee, or tries to involve community, whether it is tackling the social emotional well-being of the students, or whether it's an enrollment issue, which is always very challenging, whether it is parent engagement. So I like that collaborative, respectful attitude in the school district that is prevalent. The 2 things that I would like to improve is communication. I think an effective and a transparent communication matters. Sometimes we think we are doing a great job, but on the ground, when you are as a parent, when I communicate with so many parents, I think a little more information, a little more outreach to the parents would help.
Thank you very much. Naomi?
Could you repeat that question?
I'd be happy to. What 2 things do you believe Fremont Union is doing particularly well, and what 2 things would you work to change?
Thank you. So the 2 things, I think the Fremont Union High School District is doing a lot of things well, but the 2 things that I want to highlight today are the academic success of our students, and then the collaborative state of the team that has been built with the board, the administration, unions, and the community. the two things that I'd like to be able to work on, that I think that the school district could look at doing better, is looking at the achievement gap. Although we have very high performers, we also have students that are not performing as well. And the other part is looking at the social-emotional health of our students, the stress and the anxiety that high-performing districts face with their students. And so, thank you.
Thank you very much. Rosa?
Yeah, the two good things about our district is, first, as a parent, I'm always impressed by the STEM education our district offers. And the number two is I attended several board meetings recently, and then I got to know, our administrators and the teachers and our board, they're co-working really together and then to offer really high quality education our students are receiving. And the two things I'd like to improve is, well, our students, high school period is the critical period for our students to learn how to control their stress, because after graduation, they're alone and they need to manage their stress themselves. So I know many college students, they drink and sometimes they resort to drugs. So I'd like to reinforce the students' wellness, mental and emotional wellness program. And the second is, I feel our school is disconnected from our community. After our community members, kids are graduated, so I think our students can make initiative in that.
Thank you. Mina?
Hi. I would like to pull this from my personal experience as a parent of our high school student. I volunteer at the Fremont on PTA and other committees. I always found the staff and administrators very friendly at the campus, so I give that to the school campus, that they're very friendly and respectful towards the parents. And I also say that those and many other things, I'm very happy with the school. What I would like to bring out is that there should be more parent engagement, two-way communication. About students, I would encourage to help students the struggling students to be intervened much before it gets too late. That is something I strongly recommend. And also, I would encourage the district to build student confidence so they can ask questions more comfortably and without any without struggling. That's my recommendation.
Thank you. Don?
Under the current leadership of our school district, I think our district has remained the highest reputation and the graduation rate and the college admission rate. The current board members have worked diligently to make the best decision for the students and maintain good relationship with the parent. And their effort and the result are hard to match, and I would like to continue their effort to keep the school and the current high rating. And for the two priority to change, I think it's very hard to find any single person to change it. So I'm going to work with the board member on one thing is I hope our students have more time to sleep. So maybe later we're going to have the school have 1 day, 1 month without homework. The second thing is I think most pressure is coming from parents. So it's a school, district, city, and the Rotary Club. We can collaborate to make some speaker series.
Thank you, Don. Thank you very much. Bill?
Okay, so several people mentioned it, I'm glad to hear, but I think our collaboration is a key part of our success, and it's really important to keep that. And there's several dimensions to that. One is the collaboration between our teachers, staff, and the administration. It's not an adversarial relationship. For example, our teachers went many years without a raise so that we could maintain arts programs, athletics, etc. That's the sort of thing you don't see every place. And I think that collaboration starts with the board, with working with each other. I think also attracting outstanding teachers, although it's becoming more challenging, has been something we've worked hard at and done well, and then training those teachers with effective professional development. Things we need to work on, the achievement gap. It's not like we haven't been working on it. I've been doing it the whole 12 years, but there's still more work that needs to be done to really address that, to make sure all students are succeeding at the highest levels. And more outreach to the community. We're also working on that, but this is a district with 100,000 voters.
Bill, thank you very much.
Big district.
Appreciate it. Naomi, the next question will begin with you. I'm going to say this very carefully. What can you personally do as a trustee to ensure the financial viability of Fremont Union?
So I think that is one of the most important roles that a trustee has. And I believe that a budget is a moral document which reflects the priorities of the organization that the budget is for. With that, I think that we have to be very fiscally responsive and look at different ways to generate revenue within the boundaries that we have, and we have to look at the best ways to cut costs if necessary, and be creative in our partnership building, and look at ways that we can bring in, as I said, partners through corporations and businesses in the area to look at different ways that we can have resources so that we can maybe use funds for other areas.
Thank you. Rosa?
Yeah, I know the district has 145 million budget now, and about 90% of 90% is from LCFF, local control funding formula, mostly from property tax, and about 80% is spent on teachers and staff salary and benefits. Even then, we cannot increase any salary for them. So it is very tight budget, I believe. So I'd like to, I'm supporting the Major CC, so I think most of you know. The district is doing school bond campaigning for the upcoming election. So Major CC is going to be 275 million school bond. So that bond is really important to modernize our 40-year-old classrooms. I know that from my experience, our classroom really needs to be modernized, the ceilings and all the things. And then I will make sure every dollar is used for students and teachers and schools. And as a board, making effective and balanced finance decisions.
Rosa,
really
thank you very
important.
much. Mina.
So I just want to repeat the question. You said, what can we do, I do personally for financial viability?
Let me just repeat it to you, if I may. What can you personally do as a trustee to ensure the financial viability of Fremont Union?
Okay. So, of course, always planning is the first thing. What we all, from my background of accounting, I've learned planning is the main goal to prepare accurate budgets. I would say be clear about the goals and plan for various scenarios. Communicate early and often with all the team and the community, and be fiscally responsible. And I think if we follow all this, we will set our goals more efficiently. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Don?
Yeah, I just want to remind the voters, my major is statistics, my master's degree is economics, and I appreciate David Fung as the president for the Bond Oversight Committee. I read his report, and all the measurement from K to G, I have read it, and I think it's that's my personal strength with statistics and economics. I can do very good on the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bill?
So one thing is certainly making sure we do our job as we review the budget several times during the year, and we look at projections to make sure that we've looked through it and we feel confident in it. But perhaps the bigger issue is being an advocate for the schools. Our schools are funded by the community, and so making sure that we build that reservoir of support. We really need to look at ways to increase revenue in the future. It's challenging for teachers to live in this area. We love to do something to make it easier for teachers, raise those salaries, et cetera. So looking at every way we can raise revenues or reduce costs, like with the current bond, not only help our facilities, but reduce our operational costs. So being out there in the community.
Thank you very much. Benaifer?
So according to me, the budget, I went through the budget of our school district is well maintained. As a parent and a taxpayer, I'm happy about it. But does that mean there's not going to be challenges down the line? Yes, we would have challenges. Our district is a basic aid, relies on property tax. We have a huge influx of rental units all around in Sunnyvale and Cupertino, and that's good, not bad. We do need affordable housing, but we need to plan for that. At that level, I have a master's degree in business finance and economics. As a treasurer of PTAs, the council PTA, as the treasurer in the bank, I have looked over balance sheets, assessed the way you manage a budget, balance expenses. So I would continue to bring that skill there. I would also think we need to work at a higher level, as say parcel tax, which we need to bring down the approval from 66% because the school district budgets cannot handle the compensation that we need to pay our teachers to keep them or retain them in our high expense areas.
Thank you very much.
So that's what I would do. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosa, the next question will begin with you. What, if any, school-related issues do you see resulting from the redevelopment at Valco? And if you believe there are issues, what will you do to mitigate those issues?
Well, I'm a Sunnyvale resident, and I think as a school board, the priorities for our students' education, and as we are doing, I mean, we need to maintain our high-quality education for our students. So I think I will follow up the voting result and then take best action I can do.
Thank you very much. Mina? Yes, happy to. What, if any, school-related issues do you see resulting from the redevelopment at Valco? And if you believe there are issues, what will you do to help mitigate those issues?
Well, I personally think when schools get overcrowded, what we need to do together as a community, set up a committee, see if there are situations and scenarios like these, set up a committee where you can, we have the entire community representation, and they do some investigation on it, have some findings, and then the committee should have the representation of the entire community, and the findings should be brought to the community again, and then the board and the community together should make a decision which will help the students and see at the pros and deltas and how it's affecting our schools and the quality of education. Thank you.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah, I wish I have 1 hour talking about the Valco instead of 1 minute. I'm on the planning commission for 8 years, so it's all the construction here from Apple, Oak, Main Street. Valco is consistently coming up to the planning commission meeting. And I understand the sentiment in the community. Some people oppose it, some people support it. But after 10 years, we'll know it's Valco going to be our community center. And I think there's a lot of facts and the numbers will not accurately tell the public. And actually, Valco couldn't increase a lot of high school students. Only maybe it's 172 to 200. That's not important to the entire Fremont Union High School District. We can solve it, and Cupertino has a better future with Valco. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bill?
Yes, thank you. As Don said, we could speak for hours on this, but people have already spoken for hours on this. So its impact on the schools, well, we deal with developments all the time, and the schools are there. Usually it's kind of in the background, working with the developers to see what we can do to account for the impacts. This case, it's been more public, but the result has been that with the plan that's been adopted, we would get some really significant benefits in terms of a space for our adult education, a space that would be central to the public. That's on the positive side. Of course, it would mean some new students. We've worked with our demographer to get a good feeling for what that would be. And they would come at a time where our school population is actually going to be declining. So I do believe we will be able to handle that well. And of course, since we're funded by local property taxes, new developments help with that. They help increase the assessed value in our district, and they'll help with that.
Thank you very much. Benaifer?
Yes, so the redevelopment of Valco and the issues that the school district would face, I would not go into the positive or the negative of the decision that has been taken. I believe that whenever the community is involved, that's the way the decision has to be taken for the impacted community. As far as school districts are concerned, I'm not too worried about enrollment, and I'm taking it off, Bill, because I worked on the Citizen Advisory Committee. The demographer has presented his enrollment, and with a little bit bit of confidence, I can say that we can trust the demographer because there was a panel of parents who disbelieved the data, who examined the data in detail, and his model of how he arrived at the data. So I think we could be able to handle the additional kids that can come. However, things change and we need to be monitoring, and if there is any major shift, we need to involve the community to come to a decision as to how to enroll any impact of additional enrollment.
Thank you very much. Naomi?
Okay, thank you. So I know that the question is related to Valco, but as a Sunnyvale resident, I know that there are redevelopment issues that are being faced there too. And so I think it's overall as a district, the biggest thing for me is the relationship building that needs to take place. These issues bring a lot of divisiveness, and that divisiveness overflows into the health and well-being of the community. And so we want our communities to be strong and thriving and healthy so that our kids can be thriving. And so as using the skills that I have, it would be to go out to do relationship building.
Thank you very much. Mina, the next question will begin with you. This year, Fremont Union introduced a later start time for students. Do you support this new bell schedule? If yes, why? If no, why not?
Well, I would give a mixed answer for this. The benefits from what I've understood of the committee is that the students get to sleep a little longer, and that's a good part. But I have been talking to other parents, and myself I've seen that there are difficulties too with the change. The students who have after-school programs, they actually stay for longer than they used to, and then they have this homework, so they're not sleeping really on time, so they are still struggling with the hours. And yes, the benefit is that they would sleep for a little longer in the morning, but my son personally gets up early, so he's working the whole day. And then also I want to bring up an important thing that the special ed kids, I met with some parents, and they have told, they have expressed that the change in timings for special education kids has been a big impact, that they're not able to take the change, which is a known thing. Any change for special ed kids, it really has to span for a longer time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don?
Although my both son has been graduated from high school already, but I still remember every morning how struggle we get kids up to send them to school. So it's I personally strongly support change. Any change to the community, to the school system, need some adjustment and also bring confusion and bring difficulties. As long as we believe it's a change to the right direction, I encourage that we have a change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bill?
So this change was the result of a rather extensive discussion involving the district leadership, parents, the community. It really started from some parents who had seen the research, very valid research, on how it's better for students to start later. But that's a complicated process as to how you do that. It does involve after school, et cetera. So we've put together an advisory committee which included teachers, parents, members of the community, members of the district leadership to see how we might do that. This step this year, it's a somewhat modest step, but it's the result of input from all these people, and frankly, we'll see. This is a change, and we are optimistic about it. We've gotten pretty good reviews from a number of people so far, but we'll see. And because we've got a group that can assess that and view that going forward, then we'll make appropriate adjustments as needed.
Thank you very much. Benaifer?
Yeah, so I have inside take on this. I was the part of the committee which came out with a solution of pushing the start times to 8, say 25 minutes, so that we could balance the end time no more than 20 minutes so that our students are not heavily impacted. This committee involved a lot of students, parents, teachers, and administrators. And I have to tell you, our students were the one who helped us to come to that solution. many of the times we parents couldn't agree on something because we would think with the vision of our students, of our own children, but the students would say, hold on, we will tell you what you're deciding for us and we will tell you what we need. So yes, it was a whole input of the community. The other thing I would say, yes, there are some problems. We are hearing that the lunchtime is pushed back, so our students are hungry, our teachers are hungry. So this is the first year, there is going to be an adjustment problem, but this is not cast in stone. It will be reviewed, and we are still there reviewing the progress after the first year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Naomi?
Yes, thank you. So as research shows, at least the ones that I've read, that students need sleep. And so whether this is the right way to do it or not, that still is, I guess, in question in many ways. But like Don, I don't have to deal with that in a sense because my last child just graduated. But as I've gone out into the community and talked to parents, there are still concerns about how their scheduling has affected their students' lives and their lives. And so what I believe as a child welfare advocate is that students are very resilient, and with given the right structure, they can adjust and adapt. Sometimes it's we as adults and that have to model that adjustment and flexibility. And so that's something that I think that we can look at. I know that there are a lot of different problems and concerns, but I think that we can address those.
Thank you very much. Rosa?
Yeah, this late start is related to students' wellness. Yes, they can sleep more with this kind of this kind of program. And I also hear some parents, complain, about their children's after-school schedule, especially sports. If their children are doing sports, and I think this is really good for health. Students' health, and then we need to, and at the same time, we need to have open communication with students and parents. So my campaign slogan is "Reach Out, Listen, and Act," and I'd like to, keep listening to students' ideas, and then what is good for them, and then they can also present, what they like from this new schedule. And overall, I think the students are having more sleep, and then they are really positive about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don, the next question will begin with you. Why should citizens without children care about this election?
Yeah, from an economic support viewpoint, the school district value decided by the entire community. And if a school is good, the entire community property value is going to up. That's the fundamentally if the bread butter issue. And without this one, is all other is just nonsense. This is very, very important. So I encourage people not only pay attention to the city council's election, but also pay attention to the school board election. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bill?
Okay, I appreciate the question. So I think it is important because public schools matter to all of us. They're the community's public schools. They belong to the community. And of course, they're important in helping our students get the skills they need to go out and have jobs and be productive members of society. But at their best, the schools do much more than that. They bring people together. They actually form a community. And that's especially important in this area where we've got families that come from all over the world. Then they can come together in our public schools. They get to know each other. They get to learn about each other. They can work with people who have different points of view, something we really could use in this country today. So I think that the public schools are a key institution of our democracy, and I think they matter to all of us.
Thank you very much. Benaifer?
Yes. A vibrant school community is good for the neighborhood, is good for the city, is good for the community. Every child, regardless of what background they come from or where they come from, needs an access to a great public education. Investing in our public schools and making them stronger is the greatest gift we could give children. And I think it benefits when our schools are great, when our children are great. We have a safe neighborhood because you're attracting families and children who are vested in education. So even if your child has graduated, it is important for you to remain vested, be vigilant about your school districts, your school, and maybe attend the community event and see the great things that our students do and students achieve. And I think it makes the parents so happy even after their schools. I met so many parents during my course where they volunteer and they say, oh, my kid graduated 10 years back, my kid graduated 5 years back. And here I am, I'm an example, my kid just graduated.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Naomi?
Yes. So I'm in agreement with Bill and Benaifer. I believe that the state of the educational system in a community is the indicator of the health of the community. And so when you look at the social determinants of health that many of our child welfare advocates look at, health, the educational system is one of those social determinants. And so when we have a vibrant educational system, then the community is vibrant, and we also want to be able to look at building future citizens of our community. So.
Thank you very much. Rosa?
Tracy, I'm sorry. Could you repeat
I'd
the
be
question,
happy to.
please?
Why should citizens without children care about this election?
Oh, yeah. So whenever I talk with my neighbors in the community, as I mentioned before, my children are all graduated from school, and then they feel disconnected from school. So I need to explain how their school is, our school is doing great. So I think if they feel connected to the schools, they feel more, they will be more supportive. And I think our schools, it's community school. And our students can be in a center, and then they can make activities. They can more work, and they can volunteer more in the community, and they can promote their school events to neighboring community. So I think it'll be really great for the students to have a leadership, and reach out to the community, and then make the real good relationship between schools and community. In that way, we can have more support from our whole community.
Thank you very much. Mina?
Yes, so I would just like to say it takes a village to raise a child. And we are all together in this. It's our community. So getting valued opinions from the entire community is the greatest gift we can give to our students. And everybody should be part of it. Everybody should be part of the growth and success of our students and the community. That way we'll be one big happy family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're now going to turn to the last question, which we gave the candidates in advance, and that is to give them the opportunity to comment on something we did not ask about today. And Bill, the first one will be to you. Would you please state and answer a question you wish had been asked?
Okay, the question I used last time you asked, so thank you very much. So this time I would ask, what are your priorities for moving forward? And I think we built a very strong foundation, and we need to continue to keep that. But there are things we can do to continue to serve all students on our campuses. We've got 5 comprehensive high schools, which have a variety of programs for people. But there are things like career technical education. We're doing more and more with pathways to help students who might not have gone through the traditional academic approach. We're doing this in partnership with places like our local community colleges. And that leads me to the second one, which is building on more of those partnerships. I think there's even more we can do with it for the community colleges. I'm teaching a class at De Anza, so I get to see it firsthand how great that is. There's more we can do with that. We have a partnership with El Camino. We have partnerships with the counties in our cities. And finally, make sure we continue to keep and attract outstanding teachers, which means addressing the issue of living here.
Thank you, Bill, very much. Benaifer?
Thank you.
So a question I would like to be asked was, what are your priorities? So my top priorities are what we care about. Collaboration between teachers, parents, students, all the stakeholders, because that's how you reach a decision, that's how you involve the community. Accountability and transparency in all operations and communication, again, that's a tool to engage the parent community and build a trust. Retention and recruitment of great teachers. Without teachers, our school district would not be the excellent district that it is. And my next one is excellent and comprehensive education for all students. keeping their wellness at the forefront. And comprehensive and excellent all means all students, regardless of where they come from and what their background is. So that is very important to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Naomi?
Yes. So my question is a little bit different, and that question is, because many school board members are Rotarians, the question is, will you make a good Rotarian? And I feel that, I hope that I've proven myself to be a good Rotarian the 10 years that I was here, but my servant leadership, it really speaks to the model of service above self. And then with the four-way test, I think that is it the truth. I'm grounded in ethical framework, having worked at the Markla Center for Applied Ethics. Is it fair to all concerned? And I bring a social justice lens, and so I really look at equity. Will it build goodwill and friendship? And so as a graduate of the American Leadership Forum, building relationships and dialoguing is a key to that success. And then, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And my motto is BEST, being a beacon of excellence for students, staff, and teachers.
Thank you very much. Rosa?
Yeah, my question is, what can be done better in education? I'd like to mention two things. Our students need lifetime guidance. As I mentioned, we offer really good STEM education, but they need more various programs. I think we can have more the comprehensive program like art, music, and sports, so they can have more experience in various kind of fields for their long time, the knowledge and experience. And the second one is we need to retain our excellent teachers and staff in high-cost Silicon Valley. Whenever I talk with the teachers and staff in the district, they spend long hours in commuting. So we need to do something about it. So we can work with the city, and then we can offer benefit for our teachers and staff in housing, especially.
Thank you. Mina?
Well, the question I would like to be asked and I would like to answer is how would I be an asset to the board? As a longtime parent of the district, I know firsthand how to work directly with educators, teachers, and students. And I know the importance of communication, building trust, being transparent to the community. With my experience and educational background, I believe I would be an asset to the board. I will champion for programs for all students, and I will work to strengthen our schools. These programs which do not impact the budget. Being an economics student, I know how to work with the limited budget. And I thank you all for being here and inviting me to the forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don?
What unique qualification you can bring to the board? I think I came from mainland China, like 70% the parents in the Fremont Union High School, and they are immigrant. I understand their language, I understand their culture, and my both son is a graduate already, so I'm going to fully devote my time and energy to serve the community. With the board involvement in the community, both in the Chambers of Commerce, Rotary Club, and the Planning Commission, and the Historical Society. I think I'm going to be the bridge with the Fremont Union High School District and the community. Thank you. And also, I don't want anyone endorse me or support me down. I will be the great Fremont Union High School District trustee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please join me in a round of applause for today's candidates. Just two quick closing comments, and that I would encourage you to check out votersedge.org. This is formerly referred to as Smart Voter. This is the League of Women Voters election information website. The content features, among other things, the money behind political campaigns at the federal and state level, and more information is added to Voters Edge throughout October, especially for local races and measures. And last, and most importantly, please remember to vote on November 6th. Thank you all very much.